Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is September the 12th, Thursday. And if we turn our attention to the futures market in the Bloomberg app, we can see that the futures are all in the green, not significantly, but the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are all in the green, 0.15, 0.19, and 0.12% in the green. Now, that is 24 minutes ahead of some numbers that we're expecting in terms of the August Producer Price Index, or PPI, coming in, I think at 8:30, as well as initial jobless claims coming in. So we'll see how those numbers affect the futures market as we head into that. If we take a look at the Yahoo Finance app, we can see that crude oil is up another dollar right now. So it's slowly starting to climb back from what appears to be its low. There's a lot of talk about what's going on with the price of crude and what OPEC is going to do and how OPEC members are effectively cheating on production by overproducing and really breaking their agreement with OPEC, contrary to what the Saudi Arabians have requested and what they're doing. So there's a lot going on in oil, and one of the narratives there has to do with manufacturing and production in China. And until that improves, we're probably not going to see a huge consumption increase. We're waiting on China to basically recover from COVID, from its real estate crisis, from a number of things going on. Just today, there was news out that China has arrested some key investment bankers and has putting travel restrictions on folks that work at investment banking organizations in China. So a lot of news coming out of there and a lot of uncertainty around the Chinese market right now. If we move over to the VIX, good news. So the volatility index is actually coming down. Late last week, earlier this week, it was up in the 20s, and now we're below 20. We're below 18 at 1781. It looks like it's climbing a little, but I'd expect it'll drop a little bit more today. We had a fairly good day in the markets yesterday. And if we turn to our list, we're seeing some shifts in narrative on the election front. So it appears as though the media is saying Harris did a better job in the debate than Trump did. Obviously, it depends on the media outlet that you follow. But if that is the case, then there's some shifting away from Trump trades, which may affect oil pricing and his drill comments and fracking support, to more of green energy on the Democratic side and the solar stocks, as well as healthcare stocks. So we're seeing money make some moves, institutional money for the most part, make moves based on what they believe the end result in the election is going to be. That said, if we take a look at the stocks we're following, we've heard that Couche-Tard, which is ATD in the list, has or is looking at increasing its purchase price bid for the 7-Eleven stores. So that stock is down below $77. Probably an attractive entry point if it drops down to 74 as a longer term buy and hold. Very well run organization. And if you look into some of the data there, although the price earnings is a little high, it does pay about a 1% dividend. And it's certainly trading towards its lows if we take a look at the last year, it's really down pretty close to its lows in the last year. So it does have some upward movement. If you look at the 5-year, obviously it's much higher than it was 5 years ago, but there's been a fair bit of growth around that to support that move. If we take a look at transport, another area that I am avoiding heavily at this point, but we do see that JB Hunt did drop yesterday. I'm expecting it to drop further, so just waiting on that, waiting on CNR to pull back as well. Oil, I would have expected oil to have a good day yesterday, but for the most part, it had a pretty bad day, a pretty awful day yesterday. Now, it was down a lot more at one point, about maybe 11 o'clock in the session, and it did recover almost back to even in some cases, but not all. Even though crude was up for the day, the oil stocks themselves were not. So it's just maybe a little out of alignment with the movement of crude right now, but I do expect that the profits from these oil companies in Q3 are going to be strong. And now I believe it's still a good entry point. I love Valero at $133. I think you're not going to go wrong buying and holding that for the better part of a year. You should definitely make a decent return on that. Going down to our tech stocks. So here you can see the Granite shares, NVDL, that I added this week. It went up 16% yesterday. It's up 2% pre-market. That's a big jump. Obviously, NVIDIA went up. So when NVIDIA goes up, this goes up twice as much, and is a very interesting vehicle to put at least a part of your portfolio into. We had some other movement here. Palantir was up again, almost $35. Basically due to increased buying with its proposed inclusion, or not proposed, but it is its future inclusion, its pending inclusion in the S&P 500. We've got Microsoft back up in the 420s. This was a $404 stock just a few days ago. ARM made a 10% move yesterday, which was a big move up to 140. Hard to believe that that stock is moving more than NVIDIA in terms of percent. And I did cover that in another video if you'd like to check that out on the channel. And by the way, if you are enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. I try to make a video every day and provide you some context of what's going on in the market from my experience, which is over 30 years of investing in the market itself, in individual stocks and different vehicles, but primarily in the US equity space. So please subscribe to the channel and tell someone else that may be interested if you feel that this would be beneficial to them. If we continue to scroll down, we can see that Lam Research made a bit of a recovery. I think it's still an amazing buy at 766. That should be a $950 stock by the end of November. We've got Tesla had made some big moves. Obviously, SpaceX was in the news this morning with the astronauts there doing some, the first really, I don't even know what to frame it as, but one of the first commercial travel, commercial space adventures, maybe not adventures, but trips that hopefully will be, which there'll be more to come. I can't even speak today. I apologize. Meta is definitely looking good today. Even at 511, I think you've got a lot of movement there. And then NVIDIA was up 8%, so not 10% like ARM, but it was up 8% yesterday. It's coming back. I bought NVIDIA before earnings this quarter, and obviously I'm in the red at this point based on that acquisition, but I do believe this stock has nothing but more room to go up and should be $150, $160 stock by year end. Google is a steal right now. I recorded another video on Google earlier this week indicating that it was at a deep discount, and I still believe that. A number of analysts are in agreement with that, and I think that you can't go wrong adding Google to your portfolio. I believe I misspoke yesterday on Adobe's results. I'm not sure how I got confused there, but they announced after earnings today, so apologize for that misstep if I did misspeak yesterday, but I would be buying into Adobe ahead of earnings. I think this is going to hit 600 after hours trading today, maybe north of 600, with some good earnings to support that growth. And then we get down into financials, and financials have been slammed in the last week or so, but they're making a comeback. So SoFi dipped into the $6 range yesterday. It was up at $7.31 to close. Again, highly recommend SoFi. JP Morgan down in the low 200s is very attractive, and Goldman and Morgan Stanley as well. Morgan Stanley below or in the 97 range, and Goldman down at 471. I think are both stocks. All of the financials, I think, will do very well with their quarterly results coming out in mid-October. And so you should be well positioned. And now's a good time when they're at a bit of a discount to probably have a look at those and get in on them. I do expect moving into November, we're going to see a bit of a lift in equities as we head into the election. Looks pretty positive for the Democrats right now, unless something goes completely off the rails. for a potential win. And so with that, you are probably going to see a bit of a lift in the markets as we head into that November election timeframe. Good luck with your trades today. Hope you're enjoying these videos. Today was a little sloppy, so I do apologize. I will do a better job going forward. And if you do like these, please subscribe to the channel and tell someone that may be interested in learning more about this topic.